Hi everybody, Cannabeard here. How you doing? Today in the greenhouse, I am going to do a BLUMAT watering system. This drip tape stuff from BLUMAT. I've already done one of the beds yesterday to sort of test it out and make sure I knew what I was doing and do all my mistakes on that bed. And then I'm going to film this bed here today. So yeah, the idea is it's got these sensor carrots. That got these porcelain tips that can sense the moisture level, and when the moisture is full, it pushes up and shuts off the valve, and when it's dry, the water goes down, and the pin sort of drops and allows water to flow through. So it's an automatic watering system. It keeps your beds at a perfect moisture level for living soil, which is what I'm doing. So yeah, let's get our hands dirty. And here, as I said, I added this system yesterday to this bed, and we're gonna do the same to this one right now. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is measure off some of this drip tape for the lengths. So let's do that. Because what I'm gonna do is basically just pop it through the end of the bed here, so I can pin it, kind of thing. And we're just gonna rough it out. It doesn't need to be perfect. There, I'm gonna say, probably long enough. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one here. I'm just gonna measure it off and cut the same rough thing from the other one here. There we go. And I got a bunch of leftovers. Good stuff, good stuff. So one strip for the back, one strip for the front here. And then we need these buckling systems, these things here. So what you do is there is like a piece of plastic, hard plastic, a guide, if you will, inside here. So you just stick this into the middle, I guess. This is what I did with the other one. It seemed to work. Then you get the paper stuff around it like that and push it down as far as you can. And then twist this thing back like this. And it makes a seal right there. Yeah, it did. So that end's sealed. Then we come over to this other end here, and we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pop it in, put the plastic inside, the hard plastic flexible thing inside there so that it doesn't impede on or poke through the paper anywhere. Okay, we'll put that as the back one, and then we'll do this front one here. Same thing again. Put it in there, dial this back, push the paper in as far as you can, and then push the dial forward and tighten it, and it makes it, yeah, so that's easier. It's getting easier and easier each time I do it. Snug that in. Beautiful. Now, I'm gonna be using these stainless steel hooks, tent peg things, to sort of like hold these into the ground like that, because I've got these other ones, but they might rust. These ones here shouldn't rust. So that's my plan, is I'm gonna sort of put this in. Well, let's see here. Where do I actually want this? I kind of want it sitting right about here. I want it just away from the edge a little bit. Man, there's a lot of plants in here. I might even have to move a plant or two at the end of this, but whatever, we'll do what we can here. And then I'm gonna run this underneath the bar, obviously. So the idea is to put this tape where you kind of want it to sit, like this, right? And then like that. So there we go. I've got both of them just sort of roughly laid down in there. And now I'm gonna have to attach all the mechanisms to this. So let's do that. Okay, so here we go. Now we're gonna add one of these carrots here, and I'm gonna probably add it right around this section here. And so what we wanna do is we wanna put one end on this little guy here. Bring this closer here. Get this thing out of the way here. Yeah, so this line here is where the water's gonna come in, and it comes into this, and then this thing dictates whether or not water can go through, because it's a shutoff valve. And if water can go through it, then it goes into this and splits off and goes along. Okay, and now we've got a much longer carrot that can do the sensor just deeper into the bed. And I'm gonna stick this one kind of in the middle of the bed. Right down there, nice and low, like that. Push stuff around it, and there. So this cable's gotta come all the way down here to this end here, down to this little small tee off on the end here. Again, this is where the water goes into the new system. And then I can run my intake just over here. Yeah, like that. And this gives me enough slack that I'm gonna be planting a cannabis plant, some medicine right here in the dead center of each of these beds. And this gives enough slack for everything to maneuver, I guess. So I got one more thing to do here, and then we're good to go. Okay, let's get some water up in here. I'm just gonna do a couple of buckets worth. I have a pump that I'll be able to pump water up here on the regular, so I don't have to lift all this heavy water by hand all the friggin' time. Where are we at? One more scoop. And that should be enough. We want enough weight and pressure on the top that the gravity feed will do its thing. Okay, start with this. Get that on there good and tight. And then we just need to run this from here down along here and under the bed, or under the bar rather. We're gonna go behind this mint here, and I'm gonna bring it down to about here, and then we're gonna cut it. Okay, now let's get this thing lined up about where we want it. So first thing I'm gonna do is just kind of pin it down over here somewhere where it first comes in, so that it can kind of get tucked like that out of the way. And then we're gonna do the same over here. It's probably in the carrot zone, but it's kind of in the corner, so it might be all right. And again, like I said, we're gonna tuck this in behind here. Literally, we're gonna go right behind the PVC piping to help it pin and spot like that. And there we go. Ooh, I almost cut this a little short. Nah, that's okay. We're right on the edge though. Now here's one thing we gotta do is put a bleed valve on the very end here. So we're just gonna take this off, and this allows us to drain the system if I ever need to. There we go. And then we tighten that back on, and we're good to go. Okay, so we got one more thing we gotta do. We gotta take these drip lines and tee them into the source where they get the water from, right? So this wants to sit right about here. So I'm gonna cut the line right about here. Like right there. And then we stick this guy here. There we go. And I'm just gonna make sure that both of these valves are wide open so that when I run the water through, it'll fill everything up. Yep, everything's good. Okay, I think we're all dialed in and ready to turn it all on. So there we go. Let the water flow. The water should start coming out of here in a second. Yeah, it did. Okay, now I'm gonna shut that off. And it should start swelling up these, it should start pushing water into these things here now. Okay, and as these fill up here, I'm going to move some of this cover crop, or sorry, the cover crop, the cover here, this split straw. We just move it just like I did with the carrots. I'm just gonna get it down to the earth. I'm just gonna move this stuff aside here like this and make just a little tunnel like this for it to sit into. And it sits right there, and then we just put some of this chopped hay, or straw rather, back on the top like that, no problem. Again, we just want this to have contact with the soil, is sort of the gist of what we're trying to do. And then you just sort of half bury it. You don't really want to bury it, but there we go. A little bit of cover on it. Swelling up with water already. It shouldn't be long now. There we go. It's starting to sweat. It's all starting to fill up. with water, and then it just sweats and slowly drips water through. Hence the name drip tape. Or like, you know, like a soaker hose. Think of it like a soaker hose. Okay, we got one final thing to do now that all these drip tapes are full of water. So we need to dial these back. So from what I understand, so what you want to do is dial it back until it stops dripping. We want to go forward. What we're looking for is what's called a hanging drip. See how it's still dripping if I hold it? We want to dial that back just a little more now. Oops. So it stops dripping. So we got what's called a hanging drip. And then you go just a smidge back more, just like one more little quarter turn. Tighten it a bit more so that basically where it's at right now, assuming the moisture levels in here are correct, it'll relatively keep it at this moisture level. If it drops below this, that pin will drop and it'll start flooding these waterways. And I do that for both ends. I'm also gonna make sure, like I was saying, that this bed is well watered completely so that it's at the level that I want it to be. I'll bury this last one over here and sort of set it up correctly and line it up a little bit better. But the idea is these will only turn on and water as needed. As it dries up, it'll start to allow more water to go through. So that's what I got for today, folks. I'm really excited to test out this new watering system. We got the water bins there that I spray painted white so they wouldn't overheat and turn into absolutely hot water. These two beds here are now essentially auto-watered. I gotta dial that other carrot in here at the end, but that's good. That's good enough for now. So thank you very much for watching. If you did like the video, please give it a little thumbs up thing down there. And if you really like the video or my content, hit that subscribe button and the bells for notifications, because that's how you know when I put out a new video. Thanks a lot, folks. I'll see you soon. I'm gonna have some magical stuff growing in here soon. I'll cover that to the best of my ability, and see you soon. Cheers.